The officers immediately stepped between me and Janet. The lead officer, a stern-faced man named Davis, held up a hand. Everyone calm down. Ms. Dickerson, you're claiming extortion and false imprisonment? Yes, officer, I said, my voice steady now that the authorities were here. I pointed at Janet. She presented me with a bill for $200,000, claiming it belonged to my mother-in-law. I am unmarried and have no mother-in-law. When I refused to pay, she locked the doors, instructed her security to detain us, and ordered them to strip my clients of their luxury watches to cover the fabricated tab. Officer Davis turned his sharp gaze onto Janet. Is this true, ma'am? Janet was sweating now, her carefully rehearsed composure cracking. No, I mean yes, the doors were closed, but it was just to keep the situation contained so we wouldn't disturb the other diners. And the watches, I was bluffing, just trying to get her to pay what she owes. I have the entire exchange recorded on my phone, I said, holding up the device, including her explicit orders to her guards to forcibly take our property. The color drained from Janet's face entirely. The two security guards, realizing the gravity of the situation, immediately stepped away from the doors and raised their hands in a placating gesture. We didn't touch anyone, officer, one of them mumbled hastily. We just followed her orders to close the doors. We'll need to review that recording, Ms. Dickerson, Officer Davis said, nodding at me before turning back to Janet. And we'll need to see the itemized receipt for this $200,000 bill, as well as the surveillance footage. I told you, the cameras are down. Janet practically shrieked, her voice pitching into a desperate register. We're updating the system. How convenient. One of my clients, Richard, chimed in dryly. I find it hard to believe a premier establishment like Harborview House operates without functioning security cameras, especially in the private dining wing where high-value tabs are common. Officer Davis motioned to one of his partners. Go to the security room. Check the logs. If the system was tampered with recently, I want to know. He then looked at Janet. Where is the woman who supposedly ran up this bill? Janet swallowed hard, looking cornered. She left, she said. Ms. Dickerson was in the VIP room down the hall and would cover it. She signed the tab and walked out. And you let a stranger walk out with a $200,000 tab on the word that someone else would pay? I asked, my tone dripping with incredulity. You know me, Janet. You know I only host corporate dinners. Why would you approve a tab like that without verifying it with me first? Janet opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. She was trapped in her own web of lies. Let me see the receipt, Officer Davis demanded. The server, who had been trembling in the corner since the police arrived, hesitantly handed the long, printed receipt to the officer. Davis scanned it, his eyebrows rising higher with every line. 8 bottles of Chateau Lafite, 4 boxes of premium imported cigars, 6 orders of beluga caviar to go, Davis read aloud, shaking his head. This wasn't a dinner, Ms. Gilbert. This was a shopping spree. Show me the signature on the tab. He flipped the receipt over. There, scrawled in hasty, jagged handwriting, was a name. Eleanor Vance. I froze. The name hit me like a physical blow, knocking the breath from my lungs. Eleanor Vance? I whispered, staring at the receipt in the officer's hand. My clients noticed the shift in my demeanor. Richard stepped closer. Lucille, do you know that name? I didn't answer him. I couldn't. My mind was reeling, spinning back in time, ripping open old wounds I had spent years trying to bury. Eleanor Vance was my mother. But she wasn't just my mother. She was the woman who had abandoned me when I was 12 years old, leaving me in the care of the foster system while she ran off with a man who promised to pay off her gambling debts. She was the reason I had spent my entire adult life building a fortress of financial independence and emotional detachment. I hadn't seen or heard from her in 15 years. Why was she here? How did she know I dined at Harborview House? And why was she claiming to be my mother-in-law, Ms. Dickerson? Officer Davis prompted, noticing my sudden pallor.